Hey there, this is Niels Beardfoot, and today we're making a Calamary bag featuring the Creality Falcon A1 laser. As always, we first want to print and cut out our pattern, transfer it onto our wedge tan leather and cut out that too. We're using 2.5mm or 6-ounce wedge tan leather here. Next, we use a beveler to bevel our edges. And then we moisten it to start embossing it. Through the pattern, we want to use the stylus to transfer our design on the leather. With our swivel knife, we want to cut into these lines to create a wide open gap. In these gaps, we then go with our bevelers in and make them deeper and look nice. We also can add additional stamps along the edges, for example, and to make them even and clean, just mark a line and then along this line put on all the stamps. We also need a bunch of sewing holes, so we trace another parallel line to the edge and then punch them as well. So we could do this all the way like this, but we also could. Are you tired of unclean cutting lines because your arms are noodles? Try a laser. Every time you punch holes in leather, your neighbor also punches the wall? Try a laser. A swivel knife is just not for you because your fingers are spaghettis? Try a laser. So this is sponsored content of the Creality Falcon A1 laser. But what I'm saying here is equally true to most of the other diode lasers. And today I want to show you how I use one, right after this. First we need some leather sheets that we can put into the laser. So I got some cardboard here with the measurements that fit. I trace it, I cut it out. You can prepare multiple of these, which makes working with it quite easy and fast. Unfortunately, I usually store my wedge tan leather in rolls, so this also is not flat. So we moisten it and then put on some wooden board with some weight on it and let it dry this way. Much more flat, but still not absolutely perfect, but that's fine. And the reason we do this is because we have to, in this case, manually focus the laser. We use this tool for this, makes it quite easy, but the focus will be different if the leather is not completely flat, and we want to avoid that. So a flat leather is super important here. With some magnets, I make sure it's completely flat. The laser comes with its own free software, but Lightburn works too. We start by importing our vector graphic and ungroup the entire thing and then regroup each individual piece. This makes it easier to move them around. Try to fit as much pieces as possible on one sheet of leather and then we are almost ready to go. This is a 10-watt laser and here are my settings for cutting. And then we're ready to press start. In theory, it shows you how long it takes, but so far it wasn't accurate for me. We start here with engraving, and the idea is to get a certain depth to replace the swivel knife. So you want to get some depth, so the beveler that you use will be hooked in this groove line. But you also could just engrave it. That's fine too. Now it's cutting all the sewing holes, and after that the outer edge. One of the big strengths I see in a laser is when you have a lot of these little cutouts on the inside. They're a pain to cut by hand, but the laser just does not care. There's also a camera in this laser, and now I want to show you what happens if the focus is not correct. The cut is not all the way through and it's much more burned. And ideally you do not want to have to cut everything again after the laser should have done it already. You also have to keep in mind that you need to vent the air from the inside of the laser outside. Also, I recommend you a honeycomb because there's going to be a lot of little bits and pieces and dirt underneath. And even with it, your surface looks very fast, not that nice, but with a honeycomb you don't see it. Once the piece is lasered out, we need to remove some of the ash along the edge. And I simply use the blunt side of my cutting knife here, because then the die sticks better. And from this point on, we just proceeded as we did with the other piece. Yes, the cut of a swivel knife is a bit different here, but it still works out fine for me. And here are the both pieces in comparison. Let me know which one you like more. On the design I want to have some lighter spots, so I put on some resist in little blobs here on the leather before the dye and let it dry. And then use my airbrush to apply a base coat of yellow. After each coat I try to rub off the excess on these spots. After this I go with some orange, then some red and then some dark brown. The idea here is to create a gradient from the outside to the inside or the other way around and go in a low angle, especially with the dark brown, to create some shadows. With some high grit sandpaper I remove some of the dye on the surface to create little highlights. I wanted more spots, so I used some bleach, but it did not bleach, it made the spots darker, but that's fine too. For some more spots I tried out leaf metal. Just put some glue on spots and then let it dry and press on the leaf metal and rub off the excess. Now we proceed as usual and apply some leather finish all over and also on the edges to use the moisture for burnishing. And here are again both pieces, laser and regular cut, in comparison after dyeing. Can you see the differences? We also got these fin parts here. They will be connected via sewing to the bodies like this. And also the face part will be connected like this here. And it will also connected to the arms and the eye. As shoulder straps we got these long arms. They will be riveted together and then connected to the other arms with an O-ring. And after we've done this twice, we can connect them flash side to flash side by sewing. Now we want to moisten the piece completely, especially on the inside, and let it set for a bit. We then can put our hand in and press from the inside out to create the shape of the body and also the room for the bag. Focus also on this part here because it needs to be bent open quite a bit to be almost flat. While it dries, we take care of the rest. Moisten the arms here as well and then start bending the little arms as much as possible. Also try to push out the eye part a bit more and flip over the ends of the arms. And you may notice that the spacing between the sewing holes on the eye is a little bit wider than on the face, and this is wanted to make the eye pop out a little bit more. So by sewing it really tight, we do exactly that. We force it into shape and you can see it's already pushed out a bit, and with the burnisher you can push it even more out. To secure the arms further, we use some rivets, put them in and set them. When the body is mostly dry, we can sew on the face, and we do it like this. And notice there's a little gap here in the center of the sewing line on the face, and this will be exactly here. Moisten the sewing edge to make the life easier. Also attach the O-rings to the arms by putting them in, moisten the arms before and then sewing them close. This edge probably does not look too nice, so we grind it, bevel it, re-dye it and burnish it. Much better. For the shoulder strap arms, we connect them to each other. We can moisten them afterwards to give them a little bit of shape and then connect them also to the O-rings. And there you go. The Calamary bag is finished. I hope you enjoyed the video and also the sponsored part. This is my very first sponsored video. I did not pay anything for this laser, but I still hope you enjoyed it. But definitely let me know in the comments what you think about it and how I should handle this topic in future. This laser is a little gift for myself, but I also want to give you a little gift in return for watching the video. So for the first 3 days, this pattern will be available for free on the first comment below the video. And after this, in my Etsy shop as usual. Thank you for watching and have a great day.